not a writer.
Okay.
For those who...
What we do here is go back.
What's up, Mecha Army? You are watching the Child of Mecha live stream. I am your host, Tim, the one and only Child of Mecha, and welcome. It's Monday. It's a fucking Reaper's Day. Let's go. So we're gonna try this tonight, and I'm not talking about the Chisel Challenge either. What I'm talking about is the little helper support program that Restream gave us a few months ago to help the stream. Remember when we had some choppy challenges and stuff like that? That took a giant shit on me a little bit earlier, and it's not connecting, and they don't know why. I don't know. So, you guys sound off. Let me know. We're green. Status is green on YouTube. It looks good on Twitch. It looks good on Facebook. You guys tell me, how's it look? Does the video look fine? Let me know. Let me know. Sorvan says Twitch looks fine. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. You know, maybe they fixed their shit. Who knows, right? Viper over there on YouTube says it looks fine. Donnie Baxter over on Facebook says A-OK. Chris Pabs is over there. Facebook is fine. Okay? You know what? I guess we'll raw dog this thing. Practice safe streaming, people. Anyway, we're here. Let's get this show on the road, shall we? Okay, so I love James to death. James Denise, Mr. Snow Zaku boy. He says, video's not too bad, but you're looking a bit haggard. That... James, love you, buddy. Good stuff. Sorvan says, thankfully their broken shit seems to not break everything else. Yeah. So, we'll see, right? We'll see. But keep me updated, guys. If you see an issue, let me know. Right? Let me know. But anyway, like I said, if today is not a Reaper's Day, then I don't know what is. It's Monday. Just Restream crap. Just... Right? Like I said, we'll see, right? All right, anyway. With that being said, hey, you guys, if you want one of these cool-ass Grim Reaper t-shirts, hit up www.childofmecha.com. Hit the store button up at the top. You'll see shirts and hats and bags and all sorts of other cool stuff. Go get you some. If you are interested in any of the tools and materials, well, some of the tools and materials anyways, not the chisels because they're not on there, but any of the other stuff, hit up the little Amazon link just below here on YouTube and Twitch. That side, if you're watching on Facebook, it leads you to the Child of Mecha Amazon page where everything is curated, all the tools and stuff like that. We've got books for inspiration. We've got gear for streaming and stuff like that. All good stuff. And I get a little commission based off of the stuff that you buy. So go buy a lot of it if you would be so nice. Might find some stuff on there that you didn't know you actually needed. So go check it out, right? Aside from that, if you are interested in purchasing models or paints or accessories or decals, especially Mecha Decal 001W right now, you can hit up my good friends right down here in the corner, USA Gundam Store, my boy Adam, and his team will definitely hook you up. They got some good stuff. Asuravi, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Welcome to the Mecha Army, and thank you for watching. Okay, so, if you guys might have missed the 30-minute out postings, we're going to do a Chisel Challenge tonight, you guys. Yeah, Chisel Challenge. We are going to pit the big, the big two, MadWorks and BMC, and then we're going to test out this new MadWorks, their brand new round stock engraver, yeah? Or round stock chisel. They call it an engraver, a line engraver. It's a chisel, right? So they have two kinds now. They have the blade, you know, the old school blade type that looks like an X-Acto blade, more or less. And then they've got this round stock chisel that is ground to the chisel shape that goes in their handy dandy new handle that we looked at last Wednesday. So we're going to be testing these out on a piece of plastic to see which one comes out on top. So without any further ado, let's get that started, shall we? So camera 2, here we go. All right, so let's get familiar with these just a little bit, right? So we'll start with the BMCs. You guys have seen these plenty of times before if you've watched my stream. These are currently my chisel of choice, right? This comes in many, many different widths, but when you get the scriber itself, this is what you get. This little kind of bladed handle. This is steel. The blade itself is tungsten carbide. It is welded into the handle. And then you can separately purchase these handles, these BMC branded handles to slot these into. And I highly, highly, highly recommend that for any chisel, whether it be BMC or whether it be MadWorks, I highly recommend using a handle because it's going to greatly increase your dexterity, and it's going to greatly increase your accuracy with the chisel. So we all know it, we all love it. We'll kind of skip over a little bit of that, right? So we've got these two here from MadWorks. Now, this is the DLC line, the diamond-like carbon coating kind. This is your old school traditional blade style. This is about 5 centimeters in length total. These are, this is traditional old school MadWorks right here, right? Now this is the different, this is the new one, this is the new kid on the block. This is their round bar. stock, right? And let's take this out and kind of show this to you here real quick. So set the packaging off there. It comes in this nice little kind of hard plastic container, good for storage, right? And take the cap off there, and here is the chisel. Now, if any of you are even remotely into woodworking or anything like that, this whole kind of setup here is very similar to router bits and things. You know, router bits are usually encased and stored in these types of containers, you know, then you pop them into the router or whatever, and you go to town, right? So same thing here. This round bar chisel works in their brand new MadWorks handle, and it just, I need to loosen this bad boy up here, and it's just, come on, you. This just pops right in there. And you're off to the races, basically. That's how the chisel works. Yeah. Now with this, with the bladed one, let's take this one out, and here we'll show you real quick. This does not come with a fancy schmancy, you know, plastic container. This is what you get. So either you keep the whole packaging, or you just kind of have this thing floating around in La La Land, which I do not recommend. So this guy right here, this slots perfectly into your normal Olfa X-Acto blade handles, right? Let's get one. Let's find one here that's, meh. We'll just sacrifice the Olfa here real quick, and we'll just set the blade off there. And this guy, just like any X-Acto blade or Olfa blade, slots right into the handle, and then you just tighten this thing down. Now, thing to keep in mind is that the larger widths beyond 0.5 millimeter won't fit in these standardized handles. You're going to need something a bit beefier. So that could be an inconvenience, right? So keep that in mind. But for the round ones, they all fit in this handle, right? So keep that, I guess, for later, right? But we'll cover the pros and cons here in just a little bit. But let's see how these guys do at actual scribing, right? That's kind of, I think, the real test of things. Let's get zoomed in here real quick. And for this, we're just going to use just a standard piece of plastic sheet. This is about 2.5 millimeters wide. This is kind of a nice, you know, similar density to Bandai plastic. Might be a little bit softer, right? But let's see how these work. Yeah. So we're gonna go down the line. We're just using our little wave T-square as a guide. Let's start with the tried and true, my favorite, BMC, right? We're just going to give this a few passes, and we're going to do the same number of passes, and try to keep the and I'm going to try to keep the pressure equal across all chisels. So let's see what we've got here. Yeah. All right. So let's count it down. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. 10 passes. And you can see the line nicely scribed in, right? So we'll take a look at the quality of the lines here in just a moment, but let's mark this. BMCs. Okay? So next, we'll do the old school blade style MadWorks here, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one more. There we go. All right. And again, mark that. All right. And lastly, we're going to do the new school round bar, this new one. One. Let's get a good, better grip on that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So we've got that. Set that off to the side. All right. Let's do some super zooming, yeah? And let's really take a look at these cuts here. Now, I've purposely not tried to touch these engravings. I've not sanded them, nothing. Let's see what we can find here. Let's see. Julius Dembski, he says you have very nice handwriting. Not really, dude. I have like chicken scratch handwriting. Let's see. Okay. So, let's take a look here. Let's go across BMC here, yeah? That looks pretty damn clean. And here's the Madworks blade style. That again, very clean. And the round, you can see some jumping at the bottom there, can't you? Just a little bit, but overall, very clean chisel. I don't know if the round went as deep as these other two, right? There you can see the 3 in good comparison. Yeah, I'm not sure if the round Madworks went as deep with the same number of passes and approximately the same pressure. Like I said, I tried to keep the pressure the same throughout all 3, and then obviously the number of passes, we just went 10 on all 3. So that may be a point off for the new round ones. I don't know. All right, let's get really crazy. Let's go 10x though. Yeah. All right, now we're in real close here, right? And we got the choppy video on the 10x. So this is the BMC. And you can see how crisp that line looks all throughout, right? Really, really good, clean line throughout that entire pass, right? All right, let's go down here to the Madworks blade. Again, you can kind of see that's very clean. No wobbles or anything like that. It looks like a nice panel line, right? So let's go down here to the Madworks round, and there you can see that on the Madworks blade here, you can see that the shadow is much darker, meaning that the panel line is deeper. Here, you can see straight down, and you can definitely see the minute jumps at the chisel, right? In the line. And you can definitely see, let's see, where's the little pointer? So right in here, you can see those stutter steps, right here, right there, just boom, 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 just very, very tiny little stutter steps, right? That, it could be inconsequential. I'm just saying. But a smoother panel line will mean that your panel lining liquid will flow better. Just saying. If that's not a big deal for you, then this isn't going to be a big deal at all. But the shape of the line, the crispness, the straightness, all looks really, really good, right? And then it looks like it, you know, when it trailed off, kind of went a little bit deeper, right? But it looks good. The line itself, the crispness of the edges and everything look fine. And then, you know, honestly, the thing to keep in mind is the jumping, the minute jumping in the line, not really a huge deal in the grand scheme of things. Because once you panel line this, you're never going to be able to see any texture within the panel line itself, right? But it's something to keep in mind. Something to keep in mind, right? So let's get out of 10X here real quick, and let's talk about pros and cons real quick, yeah? Where is it? Let's get back to 1. Get out of there. Okay, so there we go. Back to 1X here. So let's zoom out just a little bit because I think, you know, they all produce really great panel lines. When it comes to superiority of panel lines, there's no difference. That's my opinion. There's no difference between these three. Even with the rounds showing a little skipping, that could be user error on my part, to be quite honest with you. It could be. It could totally be. So, in my opinion, there's no winner here in terms of quality of cut. There's no winner. They're all the same. It's a push. Okay? So keep that in mind. That's important. Now, the other deciding factors here. It's going to come down to 4 or 5 different factors, right? One of the factors is going to be price, right? Another factor is going to be ease of use. Another factor is going to be storage, right? What was you know what I had a fourth one. Trust me, I had a fourth one, but I can't remember what the fourth one was. Bear with me. Because I was talking to Zach from Galactic Toys, and he's the one that, mind you, and Zach, I'm sorry, I completely forgot. He's the one that actually sent me the round bar stock Madworks. Both of these Madworks he sent us. Galactic Toys, beautiful Grand Rapids, Michigan. Go check them out. That's who provided these 2 chisels for me to test out. So Zach, I am sorry for not mentioning that, buddy. So preoccupied with all of this restream stuff. It's crazy, right? All right, so basically, let's see. Price, availability. That's the fourth one. Availability. That's going to be important as well. Yeah. So let's talk about that first. Let's talk about availability, right? If you guys have ever tried to purchase one of these chisels, it may be somewhat challenging, right? Especially if they're not in stock from the actual company, yeah? Because BMCs, I know for a fact, sell out very, very quickly, no matter where you get them. Even in Japan, they sell out very, very quickly, right? So that's a thing to keep in mind. Now, Madworks isn't available from as many places So that's another thing to keep in mind. And they also sell out very, very quickly. So in terms of availability, I'd probably say the point goes to MadWorks. Simply because they're usually more available than BMCs. Point to MadWorks. Right? Now, beyond that, let's talk about storage, right? Because storing your chisels is a very important thing, because like a lot of you, some of you keep a mess of tools all over your desk, kind of like I do. Uh-oh, we've got a visitor. Two visitors. Uh-oh, look at this. Uh-oh.
Squirmy.
Yeah, she is definitely squirmy. Who is that?
Wasabi.
Wasabi. It's our new little kitten. One of the new little kittens, Wasabi. Hi, buddy. All right.
Okay, she's like, no.
Yeah, she's all done.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we're home.
Okay, thank you. Aww. Sorry, guys. There we go. Wife and kid went out, so they were just letting me know that they're home. Anyway, storage. Let's talk about storage, right? So, storage, with BMCs, especially if you buy the handles, this is your storage container. It comes with a nice cap. You can kind of just toss this around. This can live on your workbench, no problem. With the MadWorks, the blade does not come with some sort of storage cap or anything like that. Neither does the round bar, right? You basically do have to put them back in their respective holders. So if you get the round bar stock, that's not really a huge issue. But if you get the blades, that becomes a bigger concern, right? So for ease of storage, point goes to BMC, hands down. Hands down. So, after that, let's talk about ease of use. Meaning, actually using the chisel, right? So, with MadWorks, you do, to change out chisels, you basically have to change this out at every step of the way. With BMCs, if you purchase the handles, all you got to do is just uncap this thing, and you're ready to go, right? And the handles are very, very inexpensive. They're like $4 or $5, right? So, as you can see, it's easy enough to have a bunch of them, right? So, for ease of use, point goes to BMC. So, BMC's up 2 points to MadWorks 1 here. So, next topic. And this could be the all-important topic, right? Price. MadWorks is made of less material than a BMC, right? MadWorks, is just basically these little blades, these little round bar stock, where BMCs are this entire piece of steel and tungsten. Right? So there's a bit more material in a BMC than there are in terms of MadWorks. So you're going to see the prices are going to be cheaper for MadWorks. So price point goes to MadWorks. So 2 points all, right? So that's really kind of where we are with things, guys. It's a push on both of these. It's an absolute push. And what I think it comes down to doesn't come down to quality of scribing, because as we've seen, they're the same across the board. What I think it comes down to are those 4 individual factors for the individual, right? The person out there that's thinking about buying chisels is going to have to weigh these pros and cons themselves. If price is important, then I definitely think Madworks is the way to go. If control, ease of use, quickness, and ease of storage is more your concern, BMC. At the end of the day, the thing to keep in mind about this is that you can't go wrong with either of these. Plain and simple. You can't go wrong with either BMC or Madworks because they're both very, very, very high quality products. Yeah. So there you go. That for me is the Chisel challenge. Kenneth Sim says handling, feel, Tim, controls. Yeah, I mean both felt pretty good. Now, mind you, I am used to BMCs, so there is somewhat a preferential feel that I have to BMCs, right? I actually like the round bar chisels with this new blade better than I like these the old school blade styles. I've always thought the length of this blade is way too long. Like, this is stupid long, right? They could cut this off an entire centimeter and you'll be perfectly fine, right? If they had it to maybe the size of like an Olfa blade, or even worst case scenario, the size of an X-Acto blade. Look at that, right? If you had that in there, I think that would be much better. Yeah? Because this is just very, very thin and very long. I think this is a bit beefier, and now that I look at it, actually, that's about the same length of blade. But for some strange reason, this just feels delicate, right? They should have, a half. This should be 0.5 millimeter down to about here, and then they just grind it down to the thickness of the chisel. That's my opinion. But this feels very delicate to me. This one, you can see this has a shorter blade to it, and this one it feels comfortable, and especially in this handle. This handle is great, by the way. Yeah, and I if I was a Madworks guy, I could definitely use this no problem at all. Now Zach says you can use the DLCs in this handle, and if I could get the handle open, that is. All right. And that's one thing that I've noticed with the handle, is you can crank it down a bit too much and it gets stuck. Not a big deal though. So that's a very good point, Zach. You can use these in here, but it's even the bottoming out is even worse in this than it is in the Olfa handle, right? Because this goes up to this corner notch here in the blade, and that goes down there. Where this one, where in the actual BMC handle, it's much more pronounced. You can see that corner there as well. So, yeah, I think these are all really, really great chisels. And I think whatever one that you choose, that fits your workflow, that fits your style, that fits your budget, I think you'll be perfectly fine with either one of these, because these all make wonderful panel lines, you guys. Case closed. Yeah. Easy. Bailey says, Tim, I don't know what your pencil grip is. but try placing your middle finger on the side of the Madworks blade. That adds to the control in my experience. Yeah, you know, I'm not necessarily, probably not too into that. So what I think Bailey's talking about is holding it like this. My fear is that you push in this way with, you know, to the blade, and that you either bend it or break it. And I would not, me personally, I wouldn't chance that. But if you have a gentle, more gentle touch, then obviously, yeah, do it. But and that's a completely personal thing. But for me, I don't trust myself to do that, right? So, but that's a good call. That's a very good call. Now here it is. Cool. All right. So, yeah, you guys. Like I said, any one of these three I think is going to be great. You're going to get wonderful lines out of it. And they're all winners in my book. They're all winners. So, let's see. Bailey says, yeah, it's like handwriting. Everybody's different. It's true, right? It's very true. So yeah, so there you go, you guys. I just, like I said, I don't see myself changing over to Madworks. But you know what? I would definitely say that if this guy broke, I would not purchase another BMC .15 until I've used the shit out of these. Because these are amazing backups at this point. Plain and simple. I would use these before purchasing another BMC, simply because I have them. And then once these wear out or break, then I'd probably get another BMC. But that's just me, right? That's just me. So, let's see. Now I know Facebook had a few questions here. Let's see. Chris Pab says, yeah, it's all about comfort. Yes, that is very, very true, right? Matt Lejaco, he's over there on Facebook. He says, any opinions with Tamiya panel scriber? Madworks chisels are hard to find around here, and BMCs are expensive. Yes, so the Tamiya panel line scriber is a bit of a misnomer. Because it's not necessarily a scriber. It really should be called a plastic cutter. Because that's really what it's for. It's for cutting plastic. It is not for scribing like panel lines and stuff. So it is a completely different animal. And unfortunately, Tamiya labeled it as a panel line scriber, which who knows why, right? So, yeah, I would not recommend the Tamiya panel line scriber in place of BMCs or Madworks at this point. Because, number one, like I said, they're two totally different animals. Completely different. Apples and oranges. So, yeah. John Michaels over there on Facebook, he says, that shirt is sick. Where did you get it? Dude, that is the Grim Reapers, which is based off of my Hummingbird build. And if you want to get a shirt like this, hit up childofmecha.com. Yeah, you can get you one. But thank you for the compliment. I think it's amazing too. So, Zardra is over there on Twitch. He says, your stream is so relaxing to watch at night with your level of chat interaction is greasy. And then he corrected himself. Great. But hey, greasy's cool too, right? I appreciate that. It's really cool. Yeah, I try, right? John Michael says, cool, I found it. Thanks. Awesome. Love it. Tim Lith says over there on Facebook, he says, try Mr. Hobby. Yeah, you know what? I do want to try the Mr. Hobby chisels. I haven't gotten my hands on those. It would be interesting to see how they compare, right? You know, it's the Mr. Hobby ones. From what I remember, are more round bar stock. If I remember correctly, I might not be remembering correctly. Take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, I'd love to try those. Zashan's over there on Facebook. He says, "We're the real winners, Tim." Aw, Zashan, you're killing me, buddy. You're killing me with that. Get out of here. Flynnberger, Mr. Craig Flynn. He's in there. He's over here on YouTube. He says the Trumpeter Scriber is pretty decent for the price. I have not tried Trumpeter either. So yeah. Oh, and heck, there's Julio, Mr. Clippin' Nubs. He says, I'm totally lurking and painting. He tried the Mecha Decals today, and I think he was very pleased by them, you guys. If you are not following Clippin' Nubs over there on Instagram, definitely go follow him. He's doing this sick, looks like a GM Sniper 2 camouflage version. Looked pretty damn good. So, yeah. Let's see. Al Cruz, he's over there on YouTube. He says, I've done all the scribing on my Nightingale with a Tamiya cutter. Oh, dude, for real? Al, you gotta upgrade that thing, man. Donnie Baxter, he's over there on Facebook. He says, I use the Trumpeter for all kinds of little tasks. Nice. Let's see. Al Cruz says, I'm kind of leaning towards MadWorks so far, mainly due to the price point, but anything is probably an upgrade compared to the Tamiya Scriber I've been currently using. Dude, yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, the back of a back of a dull hobby knife is going to be probably better than that. Just saying, that's what I used when I first started out, was the back of a dull hobby knife. And if you guys haven't tried that, I highly recommend it. It gets your feet wet in terms of the scribing world, and it kind of gets you into the techniques and stuff like that. So, yeah, you know, if you've got a little old X-Acto knife like this, or a little Olfa blade, just try to kind of snip just the very tip off. Just snip the tip off, because it's probably going to be about 0.2 millimeters. It's not going to be like a 0.15 or 0.10 or anything like that. It's going to be a little bit wider. Excuse me, because the blades themselves are like 0.5 millimeter wide in width. So keep that in mind. So, let's see. Julio says they're so good. Talking about the Mecha Decals. They are so good, man. Fiery says, yeah, I've used it for a while, using a broken X-Acto until my MadWorks arrives. There we go, right? There we go. Let's see. A sharpened quarter. Julio? I don't know. Anyway, Fiery says, Tim, can you show us the broken X-Acto versus the scribe lines you just did? If I had one available, sure. Actually, did I toss those? Because I had a bunch of them for a scribing class that I did. I think I tossed those. Yeah, I think I did. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and sacrifice one for the Gunpla gods, shall we? All right. So this one is still sharp, so I don't necessarily want to handle that, but and let's get zoomed in, shall we? All right. So be very careful when you're doing this, guys. You know, keep in mind, I am a trained professional at this. Don't do this at home. I'm not a trained professional. I'm completely lying to you guys. All right, but take a pair of pliers and just pop that tip off there. And now you can kind of hopefully see it's a little bit more square right there, yeah? So I Can't find my X-Acto handle, so we're gonna do something blasphemous and put an X-Acto blade in an Alpha handle. Go figure, right? All right, so we're gonna use the same thing here, right? And let's go to town and let's see what this does. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So, not too bad. Not too bad. Let's get zoomed in. I'm interested now. Let's see what it takes. Let's see what it looks like, right? And let's get the box. Let's go 5x to begin with, yeah? All right, so BMC, MadWorks blade, MadWorks round, dull X-Acto. What the shit, guys? Look at that. Now, I can already see that this, I think, is a little bit wider than 0.15, right? Let's see. You know what? And it's just a hair. Let's see. There's a little wiggle there. There's a little back and forth movement, so I think that's probably closer to a 0.20, like I said before. But if you're just getting into scribing, it's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. Number one, what I would do is I would file down the blade so as not to cut yourself, and show extra care up here at the tip of the blade. You can see there how we just snap the tip off, right? Just very, very minutely, but file that cutting edge down or sand it or something. Just get it dull so you don't cut yourself. Very, very bad if you do, right? So let's try a scribing guide here. Just I'm interested now, right? Let's see. Ooh, there we go. Let's try to get that into focus here. Not too bad, actually. Surprisingly better than I had remembered. And you know what? For shits and giggles, let's go 10x, shall we? Let's see. And let's see. That's not bad. That's not bad. So yeah, you can definitely use the back edge of an X-Acto knife to practice and to get your technique down, right? And basically just to start out. Now, keep in mind, I would not keep going. Once you get your technique down, I would not keep going with a dull X-Acto blade, because you're going to limit yourself a great deal. Number one, you're not going to be able to do notches. So that's half the look, in my opinion. But to rescribe panel lines, like molded in panel lines and things like that, it's an option. It's a low cost option. It's not exactly the cleanest or best option, but when you're just starting out and you don't have any, or if you can't afford any, why not? Like I said, that's how I started out when I first started chiseling stuff. And I just, when I first started, I just rescribed the existing panel lines that were there in the kit. That's it. And now I'm chiseling up a storm with a ton of different widths and stuff like that. And, making notches and shit, putting on scribing classes and stuff like that. So, ease your way into it, but yeah. A stupid back edge to an X-Acto blade is a good starting point. Okay? It's a good starting point. Alright, let's get out of Super Zoom. Let's get back to our regularly scheduled program. So, you guys, hopefully, you learned something here tonight. You got yourself a good review. Hopefully, I've helped you make an educated buying decision. Now, if that buying decision leads you toward MadWorks, then what I would say is definitely check out my boy Zach and Galactic Hobbies. Shout out to them for sending both of those my way. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention USA Gundam Store as well. They carry MadWorks too. So gotta give equal billing. Gotta give equal billing. So there you go. Rashika's over there on YouTube. He says, thanks for the comparison, Tim. I've tried MadWorks, Mr. Hobby, and Trumpeter issue. Issue with Trumpeter 1mm is its handle has a very small diameter. Yeah, that's and that's kind of the thing with BMCs too. When I first started using BMCs, I tried to do it raw dog without the handle. But if you're gonna buy a BMC, you gotta buy the handle. Plain and simple, you gotta buy the handle, because it just completes the package, right? It just completes the package. So, Rashika says issue with Mr. Hobby 0.3 and 1.2 is hard to reach small corners due to the shape of the tip of the blade. Gotcha. He says so far MadWorks is better for me. There we go. And see, what I think it all comes down to is going to be personal preference. You know, and there's kind of 4 deciding factors, right? So you really have to weigh those on your own and decide what's best for you. Yeah. So there we go. Chisel challenge complete. You know what I say about that? Mecha Army. What's up? Anyway, Donnie's over there. He says, never seen that. That's impressive, actually. Talking about the back of the what is it? The X-Acto blade, yeah? Surprisingly good, yeah. Surprisingly good. But I think with the X-Acto blades is you have to have a really good technique to begin with, right? Because that was a lot better than I remember. But when I first started, I was really bad at scribing, so take it with a grain of salt, right? So, anyway. Alright, so moving on, guys. Let's catch up on the Zaku 2, shall we? Now, last we met, we were working on the foot here. And, real quick, let's get autofocus on. There we go. And, what we were working on here is this block, the stabilizing block down here as a component. I got one foot completely done. So I've got this guy done here, and I've got this side done right here. And then we used those spinny chisel blade things that Zach sent us from Galactic Toys to scribe in a little round detail there. So if you guys saw the post on social medias, you saw that we had a little metal detail and then we had a round photo etch ring around it, and it just looked amazingly good, right? So I really like these spinny chisel blade things. I do. I really like them. But this is the state of the foot as it is right now. There you can see the bottom, how these stabilizing blocks kind of just, you know, marry up really nicely. And it's just a good look, right? It's just a good look. Now, these blocks, a lot of people have questioned. They, you know, like, are those solid? Like, are those one piece of styrene? No, they're not. They're stacked pieces of styrene. This is the initial glue up of these blocks, right? So let's get a little super zoom action going again. And let me show you kind of what we're looking at here. Ooh. Ooh, there we go. So you can see there's 5 individual layers of plastic here. Let's see if we can turn this. And you can see the glue up there. You can see, you know, all the different layers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different layers of plastic. This is 6.3 in width, and then I added another one just to kind of widen that out here. This is another 1 millimeter plastic. So there you go. That's how it starts life, right? This is the glue up phase, and then this right here is how it looks when it's finalized, right? Now, let's exit out of Super Zoom, shall we? Now, from this block of glued up styrene to this bad boy right here, which is tapered along the sides here. Yeah? How do we get to that? Well, it's a very good question. First off, we start sanding and making this block completely even, right? Just perfectly square and just measurement-wise completely stable, right? So that's first step. Now, what we got to do is we got to shape this bad boy. Yeah. So let's take the foot off of the leg here, right? Let's take a look at the geometry of this thing. And this piece just pops right off, right? And then this piece is glued on to the actual foot. So when this foot flexes, this just pops up. That stays in place, and so does the little piece of armor here as well. So, really good stuff. So, what we need to do is we need to mark this for cutting, sanding, beveling down, right? So, we use our little T-square, and we measure out 1.5 millimeters from the front, which is right about there. You know what? Let's get our eyes on for this, because this is precision. You need precision. Look at this. Bailey's like, square blocks? That's what I use my Northwest Shortline True Sander for. Womp womp. You know, I'm not a huge fan of the True Sander. True Gunpla, I'm a fan of. True Sander, nah. All right. So right about there is where we're going to make our line. Mark our line right there. Let's see if I can hold this properly. There we go. That's good enough. Okay. And with just your little hobby knife, right, you're going to just kind of score that line in. Make sure that's square up against there. And there we go. We're good there. And then now on the front face, which is the face that we measured from, we're going to measure up from the bottom 4 millimeters. Or was it 3? I think it was 3. Let's mark that, and then we'll double check with the masterpiece here. Ooh, that's a lot longer than it needs to be. Wow, That is a lot longer than it needs to be. Shit. Then we're in trouble. We're not really in trouble. We just need to saw a bit off. Not an issue. So we need to hack off like 1 millimeter off this thing. So to do that, I'm going to use the chisel first. I'm going to mark our groove in here. Get our groove on. And we're going to mark this all the way around. Simply because we can follow that groove on all sides, and then it will be even, and we'll get a perfect cut. Okay. Good there. All right. Last side here. Okay, so now we've got this line scribed in all the way around. It's 1 millimeter high. So we can just yak this off, and hopefully we have a same height in terms of the other main block that we have glued on to the other pieces here, right? So what we'll do is we'll just scribe this in. We'll do a few passes on every side just to keep it nice and even. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to deepen this line so that when we switch to using a saw, this doesn't stray off of the path of the scribe line. So now we've got the two long edges. Let's go back and scribe in the short edges a little bit. And you know what? Sometimes you got to do this, you guys. I should have measured a lot better. And that's my fault. Measure twice, glue up once. What are you going to do? Right? What are you going to do? Okay. So we've got this pretty good and deep at this point, right? So now we are going to switch to, hopefully I can find my Hasegawa tri-tool saw here on the table, but if not a big deal because I've got one of these guys right here. And actually, I've got a better one here. This is these are the photo etch saws by HobbyMate, and I got these with a book purchase. I think the Scratch Build Revolution came with these, but these are, you know, nice and straight, and we can use these just to kind of start cutting, yeah. And we're just going to rotate this thing around just a several passes on each side just to try and keep this as even as possible, right? Because we don't want to do a ton of sanding and filing and stuff like that to these edges. This is going to just save us work in the long run. All right, we're starting to work our way through this thing. Looking pretty good. I have a feeling that we're going to bust through this thing here in just a second. Yep, there she goes. All right, so not too bad, not too bad. That's fairly flat on that side. There's a little bit of schmutz here at the top. Not a big deal. We'll trim that off here with the hobby knife. We'll get this, try to get this evened up as best we can. And then we'll go to file that here in just a few minutes. But let's check the height. And boom, height is dead on with the master block that we did first. So let's just even up the bottom here with a little file. Just like that. It's not bad. Now, if I had Bailey's Northwest Shortline sand thingy, wouldn't be an issue, right? Right, B? All right. So, there we go. Now we've got our block back into the shape we need it. So now we can get to actually shaping the damn thing. So, let's make our mark. Our mark right up here at the top is a little obscured, so we're going to cut that in just a little bit more with the Olfa here. All right, not bad there. All right, so now this looks like 3 millimeter up from the bottom. So let's get this marked again. Right about there. All right, so now we're in business. We've got our front mark, we've got our top mark, right? So, with that being said, let's see here. Now we start to kind of chop this thing down and really start to whittle at it and get this thing into shape, right? So, first thing we do is just start taking off this corner. And this is kind of a little bit technical, a little bit artistic, right? When it comes to shaping plastic like this. And you want to take it off just a little bit at a time, because taking off too much plastic at once, you can really mess up your block of plastic, right? You want to go slow, right? And you want to mind your digits, because you don't want to cut yourself, right? Just start shaping this thing up. Let's see. Dean says he thinks the parts are going to arrive during the stream. Excellent. They should have. They should be arriving today, yeah? That's a good thing. Alright. So we're going to get the rough shape here just by cutting the plastic off, right? We're going to get that, we're starting to get that taper in the block, yeah? Not Bailey. Shrug. Huh? Did I say Bailey? My bad. Whoopsie. Anyway, Dean, yes, the parts should be arriving today, right? Speaking of parts, wanted to give a bit of a shout out to our boy Zashan over there. He's probably watching on Facebook if he's still up. We had a Mecha Army member in need of a part, and Zashan was the first one to come through with that. So shout out to Zashan, appreciate that. We actually had like 4 offers to replace that part, right? Which was really cool. It was really cool. So everybody that offered up parts for that, very much appreciated. That's Mecha Army. Alright? Alright. So we're getting this down. We're basically whittling this down right above the cut line. The top of, just above where we marked it, right? Dean says, hey Tim, so yesterday I was trying to super glue 2 parts together, but I forgot that there was a joint there. So that was an oops. I tried to pry the super glue out, but it didn't work. I thought it was over, but then, did you find super glue debonder? Because they make it. Bob Smith Industries makes it. From what I hear, it's pretty good, right? From what I hear, it's pretty good. All right. So now we're just kind of easing this plastic, cutting this down to the that cut line. Like I said, that's really where we want to get this shape. We want to get this thing slightly tapered, because we're only tapering this in about a millimeter and a half from the front edge, the original front edge, right? And we're trimming it down by about 5 or 6 millimeters down the piece. So it's a decent little rake at that point, right? Yeah, Char Twins, I replied to you earlier. If you can find the part number, man, I will post it for you and see if people have that part, man. Try looking up the manual online. You know, places like Dalong and Hobby Search have the manual for the kit. You know, online and stuff. Like I said, if you can get the part number, we can probably get you hooked up. So, FYI. Excuse me. Dean says, I tried to use a knife to separate the pieces. That didn't work because there was a peg there. I had to file the seam and use a box cutter and saw it away for like an hour. Finally, the parts separated. They were super damaged because I used a file and knife to separate them. Fun. Fun. All right. All right, let's see. Now we're taking the good old bastard file, and we're just basically trying to flatten out this surface here, right? And this is kind of step 1 of filing. We're not gonna end the filing with the bastard file. This is basically rough filing right now. Just trying to get everything straight. Because that is the tough part, keeping your lines, keeping your bevels straight, right? That's the toughest part. Getting the plastic crap out of your eyes is another tough part, right? Jason Habakon is over there on Facebook. He says, I never knew building got so in-depth. This is pretty cool. Dude, yeah, when you're building full custom, it's what you got to do, man. It's what you got to do. Thank you for watching, Jason. Appreciate that, buddy. Okay. So it looks like we got pretty straight lines here so far. We need just a little fine tuning on this side. So I think we're just about there. All right, cool. So the bastard file goes away, right? Bastard file goes away. And in comes our returning champion. Boom! The Minashima plate file. Man, our boy Luis, Ultraman Dyna. What? This is amazing. Especially for this process, right? So, here's our taper so far. Just very slight, right? Very, very slight. Now, we got to get this thing really dead-ass flat and really even. So, this is what I do, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you turn it around, do the same amount of passes. That's what keeps things straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will usually yield super dead-ass flat and really, really nice results. Now, looks like we've got a little taper off to this side, so we need to apply a little bit of pressure on this edge when we go to run this across here. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see what that looks like. Straight. Cool. So now, this is the medium one. We put this away, right? Now we switch to the fine one. Yeah, Ultraman Dyna. Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. So this one will bring this edge in this surface just to perfection, right? Oh yeah, really nice. Really, really nice. Dead flat. Dead flat. Now, obviously you guys can't see that at the full zoom of the camera right now, so, you know, it's super zoom time. Let's get at it. Get the box. Let's get this little guy in camera here, and boom, 5x. All right, so it looks like a white block on screen right now. I get it. But let's turn this bad boy on its side here. And there you can see that beautiful, beautiful taper. Right? And if we turn it just to the edge here, you can see, oh, even with the, now with the shadow, it actually, here, let's see. Let's hold it right there. I'm trying to shadow the light away, right? That's not working exactly well. But there you can see that beveled edge right there, and that's dead straight across, you guys. Just dead straight across. Right along here. Let's see if we can get it to a point where you guys can see that a little bit better. Yeah. Since it's a white block, you can't really tell too much, unfortunately, right? But rest assured, it is there. But man, this plate file, it's just smooth as butter. I mean, is this the edge? Yeah, okay, so check this out. So that right there, that's the glue up edge. That edge right there with the stacks. Yeah? Look at how just pristinely smooth that surface is. Right? There's nothing there. There's no marks. If you were to paint and primer over this right now, you would not see any of the stack marks or any of those seams at all. None. That's the quality of that Minishima filing plate. So, Luis, thank you, brother. Appreciate that, man. Really, one of my favorite tools right now. It really, really is. It's just that good, you guys. It really is that good. So, shout out to my boy Luis. So, let's get everything back into 1X, yeah? Excuse me. Kenneth Sim says, just found out the melamine sponge cleans plastic dust for any tool effectively. A melamine sponge? I've not heard of such a thing. When I think melamine, I think of the, like, laminated particle board. Kind of like what this table is made out of. It's melamine, right? But I've never seen a melamine sponge before. I'll have to look that up, right? Interesting. Bailey says, DeLong has been such an awesome resource for almost 20 years I've been building. Yeah, exactly. They have been, right? With all the pictures and everything? Come on now. Let's see. Dean says, anybody have a master grade Quanta and would not mind to share their experience with the kit? Dean, check out Zach's channel, Zaku Aurelius. I'm sure he's probably done a review on it, right? Dean says, what is it called again? The plate file. This is the Minishima, and this is the plate file, right? Minishima plate file. If you go on to the Amazon link, I have one linked in there. I forget which one it is, but I have, Luis was very, extremely kind, and he sent me the medium grit one and the fine grit one. So the medium grit is great for shaping, great for getting your angles, great for getting your surfaces, just dead ass flat and really, really nice. This fine one is awesome for making seams and everything just disappear. So really, really useful tools, you guys. I am not going to lie to you one bit. I love those things. I knew I would, but they're really, really good. Really, really good stuff. So, now that we've got our little block of plastic here, this is now resembling the shape in, kind of in character of the kind of the master block here, right? Now we've got some trim to apply, we've got some details and stuff like that to apply, so let's get to work real quick, and we'll do that here with the time that we have left. We've got about a half an hour. I think that should be enough time, and we'll try to work super quick here. Let's see, this is probably not what we want. This is 3/4. Yes, that's 3/4. We need 1/2 millimeter. Where is it? Here it is. I think this is it. 1/2 millimeter by 1.5. That's the one we want right there. And then we also want this guy right here. 1.5 millimeter by 1/2 millimeter thick, and then 2 millimeter by 1/2 millimeter thick. This is going to make the trim around this block here. And you can kind of see it there. There's a recessed piece here, and then there's trim all around, and then there's these 2 little detail pieces that we'll make here in a little bit. So, yeah. Ultraman Donna says, they used to make an even bigger plate file, but I've not been able to locate it. I've seen the bigger ones, but Yeah, they're a little bit pricey. I think that's a good one, honestly. I really do. Rensley Clark's over there on Facebook. He says, I've been using melamine sponges for ages. It's brilliant. Zashawn says, Mr. Clean Magic Eraser is the same thing. Really? I didn't know that. Of course, I really don't look for melamine sponges, so I don't know, right? But Rensley Clark says, yeah, it is. Oh, cool. Okay. I think we have some of those here in the house. I don't know. And Zashawn says, thanks for confirming. There we go. Learn something new every day, right? Superset5 is over there on Twitch. He says, also on my Perfect Grade Fenix, should I use semi-gloss or just gloss as a top coat? Oh, the ultimate question. Yeah, the ultimate question. On a Fenix, I'd probably go semi-gloss on the armor. Just go full gloss. Make it shiny on the Psycho frame. That's what I would do. Mix up the shine. No Zaku Boy James says the big one is good. Saw helps heaps of them, I guess, when I was in Japan. Nice. Very good. All right, so let's get on this this trim here, shall we, you guys? First thing we're going to do is we're going to trim the top. So for that, we're going to use the 2mm by 0.5 millimeter. We're just going to mock this up here a little bit and cut off just a little bit more than what we need. And then we are going to grab our tweezers here. But first, let's get the cap back on our 0.2mm BMC. Chisel discipline, right? That's the word of the day. And let's get let's pull out our Bob Smith Industries BSI Instacure, right? You can get it in these big old 2-ounce bottles for cheap on Amazon. But let's glue this bad boy up here. Just a little super glue right up at the top here. Like I said, we're going to work quick on this, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to pop this right up here at the top. Just try to get that as even as possible. Placement looks good. Press that down. So, and that's going to give us our top, a top edge of our trim there. Now, it's important to try and clean this super glue squeeze out right away before it cures, or else you're going to have to take your hobby knife to it and clean it out that way. Not a big deal. It's just another step. And ultimately, you're probably going to have to do that anyway, just to make sure that there's nothing hindering the other parts of the trim that we're going to be applying here. So we'll just use our hobby knife and kind of just trim that squeeze out off there, and just get that corner nice and even. Alright, so there we go. Alright, so now we set that off to the side. Now what we need next is our 1.5 millimeter. Now the important thing is to make sure this end is nice and square so that you can easily attach it to the sides here just like this, right? Now to do that, use a chopper or try to cut it as evenly as you possibly can, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to cut off a piece there. We're going to save that, and just to make sure that I know which end is square, I'm going to bevel the other end, right? Now, chopper is a little bit off screen here. I'm just going to even up that end. We're going to do the same thing to another piece, right? Cut that. Bevel that edge. And so now we have two strips here for the sides. And we're going to glue these up here. Now, there's two steps to this, right? Because we've got an edge here, we've got two surfaces. We're going to glue this front surface first, this long edge, and then we're going to glue the bottom edge here as well after that. So this is going to be done in basically 2 parts here. Okay. Try to get this as even as you can with the edge. It's not a massive thing if you don't get it lined up perfectly, because I'll show you why here in a few minutes. So now we've got this all glued down. We're just going to hold it here just so the glue cures enough for us to let this go, right? And as a quick and easy clamp, just pop that in your tweezers and let it hang there for a few minutes, or for a few seconds, right? That'll hold that piece on there until the glue cures. So that's all you got to do. Let's see here. Fiery says, difference between using super glue versus Tamiya extra thin for these detail bits. Chartwin says, super glue is the bomb. I miss it. I have been using glue instead. Hopefully this Friday I can get some if funds allow it. Bailey says super glue cures quicker so you can get to working on the piece right away. Exactly. And it's a bit stronger for laminating parts and stuff like that. For this, it wouldn't really matter. You can use either one. But for speed of demo purposes, I'm using super glue on this. I could easily switch over to using Tamiya Extra Thin or our good friend Plastic Magic here. Either one is fine. Either one is perfectly fine. Now, for large pieces, larger laminating, like laminating big surfaces of plastic, then you probably want to go super glue, because that solvent glue closer to the middle of those big laminated pieces is going to take a very long time to cure, because it's going to be sealed off from air. It honestly could take like months to cure, if it ever does. Right? So when you're applying large laminations of plastic, like big, like bases and things, or across an entire panel or something, you'd probably be better off using super glue, because that's going to chemically cure as it is applied. So that's one of the things. Yeah. All right. So this should be cured. Yep. And it's holding nicely, so that's a good thing. So next step here is we're just going to trim that little guy off of there. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. Hold that in our tweezers there. And we'll just get a little dab of super glue, spread that across the piece, and eyes down, and we'll get this thing lined up here. Okay. Okay. Now we'll just hold this for just a few seconds until both surfaces get until both of these cured. We'll just pop that guy on there. We'll just let that marinate here for a few seconds, right? Until we move on to the next step. Now, again, if it's not lined up perfectly, if it's a little in, if it's a little off of that edge of the main block, not a big deal, because we're going to bevel this whole thing to make it look like that, right? All of those corners around this trim piece are beveled, so doesn't matter. Bailey says, disclaimer, don't eat plastic. I think that's a very smart, very, very smart thing to keep in mind, guys. Don't eat plastic. Don't eat glue. Don't sniff glue. And whatever you do, don't sniff paint thinner either. It's bad for you. Just saying. Just saying. All right. So this is good to go. This is holding fast here. We trim off that little bit as well. And while we're at it, we're going to trim off these top little bits. Boop, right there. So now we've got the beginnings of our trim pieces, right? So now we need this bottom inside piece between the two side pieces. Now, that's the detailed part. That's where you need to take a little bit of extra effort and care. Now, if we did our job correctly, this should be about 4 millimeters in diameter. That's 4.8 piece of strip. This is 4 millimeters, and that's dead on. That's dead on. That's exactly 4 millimeters between these two pieces of trim. So that's exactly what we want to see. So now, what we can do, we can pull our chopper over here, get this set up, use this 4 millimeter piece of strip styrene as our measuring guide, pop that up against the blade, move our stop block over, lock that puppy down. Now it's exactly 4 millimeters from the stop block. Now we're going to get our 2 millimeter by 0.5 millimeter, square up that edge, pop that off of there, get that right up against the stop block, make that cut. Now we've got a 4 millimeter piece of plastic that we can pop in that bottom. So before we do that, though, we need to make sure that the inside edges are clean of any super glue squeeze out, right? So we're going to do our due diligence. We're going to come back in here. We're going to clean these corners up, all of the inside edges, because this is going to be much easier to do it right this second than to do it after the fact, because we've got a lot more room to work with right now with that bottom trim piece out of the way. Am I even on camera? Yeah, cool. Okay. Alright, so we've got that side cleaned up. Let's get this side clean here. Okay. And what I like to do is make, when I'm cleaning up this super glue, is I like to make the vertical cut down first against the side of whatever piece that I'm trying to clean up here, and then make the horizontal cut against the surface, and then that glue squeeze out just trims right off very, very neatly. Look at that. Bangkyatin Yap, thank you for the sub. Appreciate that. Really do. Thank you for watching. Welcome to the Mecha Army. You know what you get? You get a boom! Mecha Army. What's up? Awesome. All right. So now we've got these two pieces trimmed up. Let's see how good this fits, if it does at all. All right. So we just need to trim the edge just ever so slightly. Just slightly. Just need a little hair off of there, just a teeny tiny bit. Okay, now let's see what that looks like here. Does it fit? Does it fit? Ah, so close, so close. What we're going to do is we're actually going to sand this down rather than try and cut it, because it gets us a little bit finer control over how much material we take off. And there she is. Focus. It fits. Yay. It fits. So now we can glue this guy into place, and then we can take care of any gaps and, you know, seams and stuff like that very easily. Okay. So placement of this one is pretty important. So you want to be careful. You want to try as best as you possibly can to place this accurately. Okay. All right, so there we go. There's that, right? So now there might be some gaps between the two, or between the trim pieces. Very simple to fix. Very simple to fix. Since we're using super glue, right? We can actually use just a couple little drops of super glue right on the seams as seam filler, and it works amazingly well. I'm just gonna get a little bit all around here. And then, let's see, what we're going to do is we're going to get our big old Tamiya tweezers here, which I hardly ever use, and to speed things up a little bit quicker, we're going to use this stuff right here. This is Instaset, you guys. You've probably seen me use this once or twice before. Bailey suggested this to me, and Bailey, yes, I use this stuff. So we're going to use this to quick set this super glue so we can get moving here. So a little bit of spray off camera. And now we kind of let it sit. And weird fun fact. This Instaset for some reason smells like strawberries. Why? I have no idea. Don't drink it. That would be a bad thing. Really, really bad. Bailey says, where's this? Nah, Evergreen doesn't make perforated sheets like this in styrene, but glad that you mentioned the odds and ends bag. Yeah, the odds and ends bag is kind of cool, right? He says, anytime you guys come across an Evergreen odds and ends bag, just buy it. Don't hesitate. If price is a concern, Evergreen sets their MSRP, and it should be around $8.49 USD. Not to me, it don't. Really? It smells like strawberries. I don't know why. Just get that dried here. Julio Ponte says, that's a stroke. Be careful. Yeah. Edward Leonard says, spray it in your bathroom, right? Probably smell good. Just saying. It really does. It smells like strawberries. What can I say? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It smells like strawberries. All right, so to even everything up, we're going to use the bastard file first. And we're just going to start to kind of file away those glue up surfaces here. And we're basically just trying to get a nice sharp edge on the trim pieces. Since we just bent those into place, they're more rounded right now. So, yeah, Bailey says a stroke is burnt toast, I think, right? I'm not having a stroke. Oh, God. No, I'm not having a stroke. But I did lose the piece. God damn it. Oh, there. No, that's not it. Julio, see what you made me do? I lost the piece. Son of a bitch. Oh, there it is. I got it. I got it. I blame Julio. All right. So, that's a really good start. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our sanding plates again, right? And we're going to get this thing super, super nice and smooth. Real crispy. Oh, yeah. There we go. That's what we're talking about. Now, to really get this thing nice, little 800 grit here. Do the same thing on the front. Try and get that pretty good. Right there, and hopefully this should be the last pass for this. Boom, and boom. Nice. There's a little glue left here at the top. Not anymore. All right, cool. So these seams are completely filled. Completely filled. They're looking good. Everything is one solid piece. If you were to prime this right now, you would never see the seams connecting the trim pieces and everything, right? Sorvon says, fire these thrusters I just painted look fire. Fire gotta take pics later. That's literally what it says. Fire emoji, these thrusters I just painted look fire. Fire emoji, gotta take pics later. I think Sorvon's happy with them. That's awesome. That's very awesome. All right, so the next step here is to just trim off these little overhang pieces just real quick, and we're just going to use the good old hobby knife to do that, and we're just going to follow the edges very simply and just kind of get this evened out. Now, again, this particular step is not a huge step of importance because we're going to bevel all these edges around. And we're going to add the detail pieces after that. So not a huge deal if you don't do this step, but it'll make it easier when we go to bevel. Okay, so there we go. All right, so now we've got our block, our beveled block with trim in place. So now we are going to start to bevel these things. So we're going to use good old sushi burrito, as my wife says, sushi burrito ceramic scraper here that our boy Ultraman Dyna, Mr. Luis, sent us. We're going to use this to start the beveling process, right? You could use a hobby knife. But I have this cool ceramic scraper, so why not? Now this basically just gets it started, right? It gets the shape, the general shape down. We're going to file these down so these bevels are really, really nice and straight, and kind of on the beefier side as far as bevels go, right? So now that we've got the shaping started, we're going to start in on the bevels with one of our needle files here. I actually like this kind of tapered kind of one here. And what we do, or at least what I do, is you can have it be different, right? I hold it upside down and I hold my chisel or my file, at the angle that I want to get, and just start to kind of go from there, and just use my fingertip as a support, and that seems to work for me pretty well. And that will leave you with a nice straight bevel all across. And then basically we just go around the whole thing and do the same practice until we get all these bevels nice and even and matched in terms of angle, especially at the corners. The corners are really important to sell that look, that illusion of scale that we often talk about, right? Okay. Looking good. Let me just work our way around. Like I said, all the way around this thing. And be careful you're applying consistent pressure throughout the file, or else you're going to file down one side more than the other, and the bevel's going to be lopsided, right? So keep that in mind. So that's looking pretty good there. Be good if I was on camera, right? Let's see. Oh, cool. Dean got the parts. Sweet. Awesome. Yeah. Recorded an unboxing. Dean, there's more than... Go ahead and open it up right now, man, because there's more than the parts in there. A little something else. A little something else for you, Dino. Little something else. So I like to see his reaction when he sees what else is in there. All right. That's looking pretty money here. We just need to get this one edge a little deeper. Just like that. Good. And then this edge right here, we match. And there we are. And there is our nicely beveled edges and everything. Nice. Nice. Whew. Getting warm in here, you guys. Alright, so now, only 2 steps to go. Only 2 more things to do to this thing, and then we are done with this little block here, right? Let's see. That's all looking really good. Now, the next thing, we need a 4mm by 1mm strip, right? That little guy right there. Now, I do see a bit of glue squeeze out that we need to get, because this is going to be crucial, especially along this top edge right here. We need to make sure these top corners and everything are absolutely clean of any sort of super glue squeeze out, because we're going to be gluing in the detail pieces here next. And that's where those are going to live. They're going to live up at the top of this particular piece, right? Let's see. Oh, he's recording it now. Nice. He says, you can see my totally beautiful and clean cutting mat and tools. Nice. Oh, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So we'll get Dean's reaction to the other stuff that's in that box. I want to hear kind of what he has to say, right? I just want to see the reaction from the kid. Stream died there for a second. Really? Did anybody else see that? I didn't notice it. Let's take a double check. Looks good on Facebook. Green on YouTube. And we're live on Twitch. So, I don't know. I don't know, man. Anyway. Life alert, right? Did something happen? Really? Stream died there for a second? Really? Huh. I don't know. Weird. Anyway. So, continuing on. Julius Dembski says, what size chisel are you using to clean the glue out? This is the big old beefy 3mm, Julius. Yeah. That's the big boy, right? That's the biggest chisel that BMC makes is 3mm. At least that I know of, anyways. But yeah, the 3mm is good for cleaning up edges. It's good for trimming parts, sculpting plastic, things of that nature. So yeah. All right, so cool. Went offline for a smidge, but came back real quick. Sorvon says, I don't see any problems over here, but then I'm busy freaking out over these thrusters. Nice. And everybody says it's fine now on YouTube. So, I don't know, maybe it was just a hiccup on YouTube. Who knows? Maybe it was Restream trying to fix my shit, right? Who knows? Restream, if you're watching, fix my shit. Hashtag fix my shit. Make that a thing, guys. Make that a thing. Alright, so that's 2.5. We don't need 2.5. We need 2. 2mm by 1mm. That's our width of choice right now. And I think... Was this it or was this it? No, that was not it. Ooh, I think this... Nope, that's not it either. Trying to find the proper width in this myriad of plastic strip on my desk here is sometimes challenging, you guys. So bear with me. Trying to find the right width of plastic. Ooh, nope, shit. It's 0.5mm. Damn it. I should really put these things back. Alright, let's see. Is that... This might be... Let's measure this thing just to be on the safe side. No, that's 2. Alright. My bad. Anywho. Alright. So, we've already got our chopper still locked into that 4mm, right? So, we just square up the edge. Toss that off. And then... we've got our top piece here, right? So we'll throw that off to the side. Now, if we look at the block here on the feet, you can see if this focused. Right there. Okay, so now you can see... finally, that these two sides are beveled. So we're going to bevel that thing now, right? Kenneth Sim says BMC's newest big boy is now 4mm. Shit. 4mm. That is a big boy. I mean, that's the size of this strip right here, right? That's girthy. All right. So we need to bevel this. The best thing that I've found in my experience to bevel a piece as small as this is to just cut it with your hobby knife. And this doesn't necessarily have to be completely exact. It doesn't have to be super, super clean. But, you know, it has to be even enough, right? Alright, so there's that. And then... what you can do to even it up, come back with a chisel, your sanding block, whatever, and then just kind of sand that bad boy down. Just even that surface, right? Until the beveled edge is nice and straight across the piece. That's when you're gonna know that the bevel is nice and even, right? So now we'll do the same thing to the other side here real quick. Almost finished with this thing. Almost finished. That's looking fairly decent. So now we're good. We've got our little beveled piece there. We're going to take the eyes off for a minute so I can cool down, because you can see the red on my forehead. It's hot right now. This thing creates heat, right? All right, so we'll take this little block here, a little bit of super glue, little dab will do ya, and this goes right up in that top, on that top edge of this this piece here. Come on, you. Alright, so we've got a little bit of problem with fit, which we probably shouldn't really have at this point, but we do. Yeah, this thing doesn't want to go. So we'll just pull this little guy out, and we'll just start to trim the edges until it fits. Let's see what that looks like here. There we go. Now we've got fit. Good, good, good. But we got a little bit of super glue residue in there, so let's get that out with the chisel here real quick first, just so this thing lays flat. Alright, so now we reapply the glue and get this thing back into place. Just like that. And now we just hold that for a few seconds to let the glue cure, right? Okay, there's that. One last step to go. So Sean says, I'm at 5%. See you next time. So Sean, good night, buddy. Appreciate you watching. All right, so we've got our 2mm little strip here. We are going to cut off just a teeny tiny little bit, about yay big. And let's see what that looks like in comparison to that. All right, so we're going to trim just a little bit off here. And then we're going to hand bevel the edges here, or the corners of one side. One there. One there. So now you have a nice little beveled piece, right? We're going to pop this guy in and glue him into place. Right in there, just like that. Just drop him in there. Okay. And there we go. So there's your block that we just made compared to the block that we have as our master. Pretty good. Pretty damn good. Not bad. Not bad, yeah. So, scratch building a stabilization block is not that hard, you guys. Just a little tedious. So, go back over here. So, it looks like we've been fairly problem-free for the night, right? Without the little restream utility. Let's check. Yeah, we're still green on YouTube. That's a good sign, I think. That's a good sign. So, we might be good to go without it. We might just have... We might just raw dog it the rest of the way, right? Who knows? Anyway. So, let's tie this one up. Wrap it up for the night. So, you guys, let's see. If you want to pick up one of these awesome Grim Reaper shirts, man, go over to www.chowdamecha.com. Hit the store button up at the top. You will find shirts, hats, and bags, and all sorts of other cool stuff like that. If you want to get some of the tools and materials that we worked with here tonight, check the Amazon link just below here on YouTube and Twitch. That side, if you're watching on Facebook. There you will find a bunch of the tools and materials. You will find books for inspiration. You will find gear for streaming if you want to get into that. And then also, I get a little bit of a commission based off of the stuff that you buy, so it goes to help out the stream, right? And then, of course, if you want to pick up paints or kits or decals, especially Mecha Decal 001, we've been getting amazing reviews on those, thankfully. Hit up our good friends right down here in the corner, USA Gundam Store. Adam and the crew down there will definitely hook you up with whatever your needs may be. Right? And then also big shout out to Zach up at Galactic Toys up in beautiful Grand Rapids, Michigan for the awesome MadWorks chisels and stuff like that he sent us to test out. So, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So, guys, until next time, we will be back here on Wednesday, and we will be back here on Friday. And we'll be kicking this thing in the ass a little bit more. Hopefully, we'll have all 4 blocks on the feet, and we can move on to some other things, right? Hopefully. Fingers crossed, right? So, all right, guys. So, until next time, have a wonderful Tuesday, and we will see you all later. Be safe out there, you guys. Bye.